Hello all, welcome to oratrainings.com. In this session, we'll discuss about how do we perform a search on the embedding using Python as well as Oracle Vector Search 23AI. Here, if you observe, there are three keywords. One is Python, other one is embedding, third one is Oracle Vector Search 23AI. So what we do is we'll try to create an embedding using Python, and then what we do is then we'll just try to insert the vectors into Oracle Vector Search 23AI, and then perform a similarity search in the Oracle Vector Search 23AI. So there are a couple of steps involved. We'll just try to discuss three Python programs. So I'll show you the steps. What we are trying to do is, so the final program will have three steps, but the initial step, the program is, we need to understand how do we connect a Python to Oracle database. So that will understand the first step. So I'll show you the program. Connect with Oracle AI. So here, if you observe, we are importing two packages. One is OS, another one is Oracle DB, and we require three credentials. One is the username, next one is password. This is a DB password, and the other one is a valid password. So we are connecting to Oracle 23 AI Cloud, so we require a valid password also. So and then using this particular connection statement, nothing but the function in the Oracle DB. So what are we doing is we are providing the username, password, and we are providing the information from the DNS names.ora file of the wallet and the configuration directory where exactly we have the zip wallet file and the wallet location and the wallet password. So this is a connection string information which we are providing to Python. Then the initial next statement is what are we doing is we are validating the connection. So cursor is equal to connection.cursor. So this particular information will validate the connection details what we mentioned, and then performing a query execution. So using the cursor variable cursor.execute, you just provide your particular Oracle SQL statement inside this one. Now I just provided a query called select banner from $version. So what exactly it will do is it'll if it works, so this query will result you the version of the DB which you are using. So I can try to copy this and execute the same thing from my SQL developer. So if you observe, I'll just execute this one. So this should provide the DB version which you are using. So we are expecting the similar result when we execute this particular script using the Python. And then we'll get the DB details. And also I'm just trying to validate whether I'm able to insert a vector into Oracle DB using Python or not. This is another example. So I'll just try to mention some name here. So there are two columns in this particular table. Let me show you the table structure also. There are two variables or two columns, I mean. One is ID, other one is vector data type. So you can just see the list of records which are available in the AI table. Yeah, so there are two records. Okay. And now what we do is, so let us perform this particular functionality we'll execute this program now. So I'll just go to command prompt, clear this, and then try to invoke it. So I'll just mention Python and I'll just say my program name, connect with Oracle AI. Let us see what does it provide. Yeah, so we are able to get what is the version of the database which you're using, and the insertion also is successful. You can validate from the database whether this insertion got executed or not. We should see a record with the variable ID 7, right? So the initial logic is done. And now the next one, what we would like to perform is how do we load a sentence transformer model in Python? Okay. So using this particular this particular script generate embedding, what we do is we'll try to use a sample model, all mini LM L6 version 2. And using this model, we try to encode the sentences. Okay. So here, if you observe, let us see this import statement. You can observe here the import statement is sentence transformer. You require this library. And I'm assigning the output of this sentence transformer library to this model variable. And then what are we doing is we want to perform the encoding on couple of sentences. So there are a couple of sentences here. This is an example. Each sentence is converted, right? There are two sentences which I want to encode, right? So now embeddings is equal to model.encode. So now what this line number 10 is, what it is doing is it is converting this particular English sentences into mathematical statements, nothing but vectors, right? So this embeddings variable will hold the vectors, and then we'll try to print this particular vectors using the for loop. So now first sentence for sentence, comma embedding in zip, sentences, comma embeddings, what are we doing is we are printing the sentence as well as the embeddings. And of course, I have mentioned the embedding as only 5 because by default, it will generate a larger number of embeddings. So we'll just ignore all of them, but it's okay. We'll just try to print only the initial 5 embeddings. Python generate embedding.python. So now let us see what does it provide. Yeah, so the pre-trained model is loaded and we are able to convert the sentence, the first sentence, this is an example, right? This got converted into this particular embedding and we are trying to print only the first 5 vectors. And similarly, the second sentence also got converted and we are able to we are able to print the embedding of this one. So now the next logic, what we are doing is it's a combination of the first program and second program, wherein we connect to the database, we convert the list of statements into vectors, and these vectors will be loaded into Oracle vector database, and then finally we'll perform a search on the vector database. Okay. So now let's see this funnel program. Yeah, generate and search embedding. So this is a little bit larger one. So where we require sentence transformer and DB connection and OS and as well as array. So the first one is configuration, which is similar to our first program, username, password, and DSN. Then next one is loading the transformer. So the second step where we are loading the transformer. And now here, next one is the list of statements for which you want to convert into vectors. So these are a couple of statements which I want to convert this into vectors. There are 5 statements I mentioned. Now step 3, we are connecting to Oracle database. So based on the connection string, Oracle db.connect. So this particular, if at all, if the connection is successful, if your credentials, username, wallet directory, everything is correct, this will become successful. And then the fourth step is what are we doing is, let us say if you are executing this program for the first time, you require a table, right? So we are executing a execute immediate command using a PL SQL logic in the Oracle database. And we are creating a table called AI vectors, which is having 3 columns. One is number, description, as well as embedding. So these are one which is having the vector data, right? So you can observe this table structure. I can drop it. As of now, it is already available in my database, but still I can drop it. So before that, I'll show the structure of this database table. It is having 3 columns. So ID, description, and embedding. So 384 is the vector size. What I'll do is I'll just drop this one. So the table, yeah, drop table. Okay, the table got dropped. If you try to see it, if you try to execute, it will not work. Okay, it is no longer available in my database. So now we'll go to the next step. So this is step 4 is creating a table. Now the step 5 is very important. So once the table is created, then what are we doing is we are trying to perform insertion and we are converting the sentences into vectors. So here you can observe for a sentence array in sentences, like for each, we have sentences array, which is having a list of sentences and we are iterating the sentences one and each, this is single sentence and this single sentence we're converting into embedding using the using the model.encode. So to the model, we are providing our input and it is generating the vector. I mean, it's it generates embedding list, which will not work directly. We have to convert into array format. So using this particular array.array embedding, and this particular statement finally generates a vector content, which can be inserted into Oracle 23 AI. And then we are performing the insertion here, insert into AI vectors, the 2 variables we mentioned, description and embedding. And the first one is the description and the second one is the vector. And this is how we have to pass it. Once this is inserted successfully, the 6th step is the final one. What we would like to do is we want to perform a vector search, right? And this is my input statement. I just want to search a keyword called mission. And then it provides a list of result and it will perform a search on the list of records which we mentioned. And it searches not based on the keyword, it searches based on the similarity search, nothing but on the vectors using the cosine similarity. By default, I have not provided. So it assumes, yeah, sorry, I provided the cosine distance. It performs a search distance based on the cosine similarity, right? Order by distance we mentioned, right? Yeah, that's the reason. and we'll try to perform only. We are trying to fetch only 3 records. Okay, now let's try executing this particular program. It may take some time because it has to perform the embedding as well as connection, right? Generate and search embedding. Let's see one by one. So embedding generally takes time based on the model. Even though we have 5 statements as it is a free model, right? So generally it takes some time, a couple of seconds. Yeah, so step 1 configuration is done. Transformation, it started transformation now. So transformation then connected to Oracle. Now create table, inserted, and then, yeah. So data inserted and perform search. And here based on the input machine, what exactly it provided us, Python is great for machine language. And then the other one is like a cloud computing, then Oracle AI, right? So in similarity search, you can observe here, these are 3 things which got it out of 5 statements. These are top 3 statements which we got in the output. And you can also see the data from the database. We should see our send like the ID description and also the vectors embedding which were loaded here. Okay. So this all how do we configure or like these all steps, right? Like we are able to work with DB, load sentence, nothing but converting to embedding, then inserted the vectors and performed a search in the Oracle Vector AI using the cosine similarity. Okay, thank you.